Okay, inside the Boutique Hub, you guys, I am always asking you this question of who is your boutique crush? Who's your boutique mentor? Who is someone you love to follow and you are so inspired by? I have to tell you that today on the podcast, this is one of my icons, if you will call her that. I think she would die if she heard me say that face to face. But I just think that this woman is so incredibly smart, has built such a great brand, not just a product, not a wholesale business, not necklaces. She's built a brand and she's done a tremendous job doing so. So today I'm so excited, you guys, for you to meet Megan DiVincenzo. She's the founder of the Sis Kiss. Now, Megan's been on the podcast before. We've had her on early in her journey, and you're going to hear us recall where she was at in that stage of her life and her business and just how far she's come since then. She's done some pretty incredible things. And I will tell you, the coolest part, like I said, about Megan is not only has she built this product-based business, but she's truly built a brand. So to hear where that's taken her from places like QVC or doing pop-ups with Nordstrom or working with Like to Know It, Megan really has figured out all kinds of avenues and angles to be a multi-channel brand, not just relying on one wholesale channel alone. So today, I hope you love this conversation. Not only are we going to be talking about updates and what's happening in her business and how you too can build a brand, but also behind the scenes of going viral and mental health and truly what it means to take care of yourself as a business owner, because we all have those things that keep us up at night. On top of that, I am so pumped. I'll get you all the details in the show notes today, but my friend Megan is also launching her own podcast, which is so fitting for the brand that she's already built. So I'll tell you all about it on today's episode. I hope you love this one, guys. Get ready to catch up with what's happening at the Sis Kiss. Let's talk about your business, strategy, and the juicy details of what actually works, from mainstream fashion to fashion on Main Street and the entire ecosystem behind it. How do we scale your company and do it with the balance and the happiness that we all seek? Let's hear from those insiders, experts, and strategists that actually make it happen. I'm your host, Ashley Alderson from the Boutique Hub, and I can't wait to chat. Megan, I am so pumped you're back on the podcast. Welcome back.
Hi, Ashley. How are you?
I'm so good. I have been dying for this update because where we last left off, I just remember like your brand exploding just with even in the hub community and within the boutique
100%.
world. And I feel like I've gotten this really cool vantage point to see your growth outside of that and just to see so many different avenues that you've explored. So I love this update today that we get to dive into what's been happening since.
Thank you. I know. And it's funny. I was just thinking in my head, the last time that you and I did this, I was in my basement. That was my office. You know, I was in my home where I was working out of, and I had an employee come to my home every day and ship. And now we're in my warehouse, actually in my podcast room. So I appreciate the update. Yeah, I'm like appreciative that you let me come on and that I'm in a new space. And that's cool thinking back on.
I love that. So let's talk about how the business has changed a little bit since the last time we caught up.
Yeah.
Most people know you from the name necklaces. I remember buying, our whole team, all the women on our team got custom name necklaces 1 year for Christmas from you. So I'm so appreciative of that.
Yes.
But now that's evolved into even more. Talk to me about like the permanent jewelry and the charm bar and like some of those new things that you're doing to grow the business.
Yeah. So thank you. Obviously our name necklace kind of went like viral. It's kind of like what I want to say, because when I think back on it, it was because an influencer posted it. It was the right influencer at the right time, and it did go viral. And obviously that went on for a couple years, and we were very appreciative of it. So obviously our name necklaces and custom pieces are our best sellers, and we still like try to make sure that those pieces stay front running, but we're trying to evolve them. So now I feel like our front runner is called the My Mantra necklace, because you can put multiple names on one necklace. And of course that's amazing for moms with multiple children. And I'm always like in my head thinking like, since customize is what our whole brand is made on and people know us for that, how can we make it better? How can we make it faster? How can we get it in the hub members' hands quicker so they can give it to their customers? So that's why we launched a charm bar, because I stock all the charms, but I feel like, Ashley, you might want a smiley face where I might want a lightning bolt. And so you can pick your initial, but yet pick your personality, and we stock all the charms. So when you order it, it ships out the next day. So I'm really, really becoming passionate on how can I make your pieces different, unique, and customized, but yet stocked so that you get them faster, people's customers get them faster, and obviously our customers get them faster. And it's been a wild launch. It was amazing. We launched the Charm Bar in Nordstrom on Michigan Avenue, and that was like a dream come true for me because that's
So
like
cool.
it was so cool. They were like,
Amazing.
Nordstrom was like, you could pick any store you want. And I was like, I picked Chicago. Like, because that's like, my husband and I would always go there, when we first got married and shop, and that was like our little getaway. So it meant a lot to me to be able to go back with my brand. So the Charm
I
Bar,
mean, do you ever just let that sink in? Like, you got to let that sink in for a minute. Like, it's so cool.
no, I don't. I'm not one of those people. That's probably one of my biggest downfalls is that I'm just like, okay, now what? Now, how are we going to top that? My brand manager is always on top of me. Like, would you just chill for a minute and like be really proud of that experience? And I'm like, no, it was great. It was fun. But like, what's next? So it's just
Are you
my,
an Enneagram 3?
I'm sorry.
Are you an Enneagram 3?
Oh God, I don't know. I don't have enough time to take that long test. I am not that patient. I'm a very hustle bustle person. I'm like, I don't know, but I'm going to find out for you. I wish somebody could tell me like a short answer.
Yeah, I mean, I think that you are. That's what I am. And so everything you say resonates. And I'm like, yeah, achieve, go, don't quit, don't celebrate, just keep going. What's next?
Don't
We
celebrate.
measure our worth and our accomplishments. Yes.
It's so funny because a lot of times I feel bad. Like I'll be like, oh man, I should do better about stepping back and being proud. It's just, but then it's like, you got to be true to yourself. That's just not who I am. Like I'm always like, this was amazing. What's going to top this? And let's do it. And the downfall of that is like, it's easy to be disappointed then. Like if you feel like something doesn't outdo it, like every year I always think like my girls always put together like a TikTok or a reel. Like here's what happened in 2021. And I'm always staring at it like, shit, what are we going to do in 2022? But then like every year I'm like, oh, okay, we did this and this and this and this. So I think we can pull it off. We can pull it off.
Absolutely. So real question though, if I think about like the influencer wearing that necklace, how your business has grown since then, all the way to the evolution of the Charm Bar, and you saying you went viral, truly went viral.
Yeah.
And now everyone and their mother has knocked it off, right? Yeah. Like all these things come along with it. Talk to me about what does it really mean to go viral? What does that really look like on the inside?
Yeah. Well, I mean, for a while, it's a fun ride. And because if you think about going from like working in my basement with no employees to now having my warehouse that's 14,000 square feet with 9 employees, it's stressful because you jump from a lot of like small bills and maybe paying yourself a little bit here and there to like having an accountant, having an HR, having a brand manager, to having employees who need time off and things that you think, looking back, you think like, oh, that's going to be amazing. But it's truly a lot of stress. And I feel responsible for a lot of people, as I'm sure a lot of your listeners do too. And it's a big jump. It was a big jump fast. So I think when you go viral, you're not really even aware that your brand could go there, let alone that fast. But I'm a really good pivoter. And as soon as we needed to pivot, it's like we're in a bigger space. My team is really great about being like, we're going to need a bigger boat. And they always tell me like, it's time, we need a bigger boat. And you just pivot. I mean, you got to accommodate what your growth is, and it's stressful and it keeps me up at night, but we're already here and now we got to go bigger.
I love that.
Yeah.
One of the ways that you've gone bigger in the last year, not only did you do Nordstrom, but you had a QVC experience as well.
We did have a QVC experience.
Tell me about that.
It was good and bad. Like I would do it again in a heartbeat because that is who I am. Like I'm probably your quintessential QVC seller when I know that I need to be that person. Like if you stuck me here and a customer walked in, I'd probably be the worst salesperson ever. I'd like hide in my office. Like I'm a big introvert, since that's another thing about going viral. I'm very introverted now, and I apologize. My dog's barking out there if you can hear her, but she's part of the everyday life at work. When you go viral, and I'm sorry, I'm kind of backtracking, but like, I feel like everyone needs you. Like, so much people need you. And I feel like it really changed who I am. I'm much more introverted. I'm much more less social now. So yeah, I just thought about that when you asked the question about QVC.
Yeah. So
But go
pause
ahead.
before you go to QVC, because we'll come back to QVC. But I want to ask you about that.
Yeah.
How have you, because that's a big deal, like what you're saying. And I think there's a lot of boutique owners who can relate to that, especially those who live sale. Like
Oh,
if you do live sales, like it is so draining.
I
How
watch
do
those
you,
ladies and I'm like, how do they do that? How do they do that?
yeah.
And they do it so well. They must
Mhm.
need to get off and take like 3 days where nobody talks to them because it's like even sometimes my girls that work here with me, like if they come in and my door shut, they're like, she needs a minute. Like don't come at me with like we need to order paper towels because I'm not ready yet. But
Yeah.
I honestly have been doing a lot of manifestations and meditations, and that
Mhm.
sometimes those are what I focus on, like being better at being more receptive of listening to people that work here and having. I don't want to say patience because it's not like I'm impatient. It's just like I just need more minutes for myself, and
Mhm.
I try to meditate on that because how can you be an amazing boss if you can't listen to what people need or have to say? So I'm not good at it, but I'm working on it.
Have you worked on just, it sounds like setting boundaries is really the basis.
I'm really, really terrible at boundaries. Like really, really, really terrible. I'm a yes person. Um, I am always worried about what if we don't get another sale. So if some opportunity comes up, the answer is yes. But I am learning with being in the business longer about what opportunities probably don't work for us. And so now that you've experienced all of the opportunities, now I have a better basis of which ones are not worth our time and to say no to those things. And now that I have employees that work for me and like really believe in the brand, I'm even more careful about the boundaries because if they're the ones showing up for like a show or a pop-up, it better be worth it because those girls mean a lot to me and they put their time on the line for me. And so I want it to be also worth it for them. And also if it's help them grow within this brand. And if it's not going to do those things, we just have to say no.
Yeah. So it sounds like you are mastering business boundaries and just working on personal boundaries.
Yeah, and you know what? I guess I just didn't realize those are like I'm doing those things actively, but I guess I didn't think in my head that those were setting boundaries. Like I feel
Yeah.
like nowadays you hear so much like I'm older, okay? So I feel like there's a different generation and you
Mhm.
hear a lot about the word boundaries and you hear a lot about self peace and I don't know all those trigger words, but I guess that I'm working on those things without putting a label on it. You get canceled now. It's all the same thing. I just don't know the verbiage anymore. So
This could be an entire podcast
uh,
topic
we
right
we
here.
we can't go there, okay? Because we need.
It's going to get off track really fast.
Yeah.
I love that. Actually, so to sum this all up, it is really like going viral is great, but what happens on the inside, people don't talk about.
Yeah.
And just business as a whole, I feel like it's so great when you see these brands take off and you're like, oh my gosh, it must be wonderful. And then, this whole must be nice comparison trap unfolds for all of us. But
Yeah.
we don't know what is actually keeping that person up at night.
Yes. And like about going viral, like let's just think about this. Before going viral, whatever that means to some other business. If we were selling 10 pieces of jewelry before going viral, so I probably bought my padded envelopes on Amazon or at Michael's. Now I need to buy them, 30,000 at a time. Yes, that sounds amazing, but at the same time, that's a lot of bulk money you spend at once. And that's not money that, you're selling. Those are things that you're packaging. So even things like packaging,
Yeah.
you're buying everything in bulk. And of course that makes sense in the long run, but these are bills that you're like, holy crap, that's like a whole lot at once. And then you're always hoping, Ashley, that like, okay, what if this runs out? What if, this whole what if mentality. So I'm human, and as much as I manifest and I meditate, I still have those thoughts, and I'm really truly working on them because I'm always like, there's enough for everybody. There's abundance for everybody. There's enough of everything. And it's just getting through the daily bullshit to make sure that you're aware of that there's enough.
That resonates. I completely understand what you were saying.
I'm sure you do.
Yeah.
And I feel like, it's a lot of times like those are the things like as business owners that I don't know if people talk about. And those are and the more employees that I get, the more I'm up at night because I want them to feel taken care of. I want them to feel like they can grow with the business. And sometimes when I'm down in the dumps and I'm worried about things, it's like, I try not to bring that here. And it's hard sometimes because I am human and I'm surrounded by these girls who have been with me this whole time. And it's easy for me to vent. But then I'm like, bring it back because you want them to feel safe and secure and that they're growing too. So it's a fine line between here's my crew, but yet don't give too much information away.
I feel like even right now in the moment we're in with the economy and everything else, I've been having this conversation with our team and I too have to be mindful of, okay, I don't want to scare them, but I have been very clear what's happening in our world is dicey and we have to be fiscally responsible and we are going to get as lean as we can and shore everything up as much as we can and protect the business and be conservative with the business so that you never have to worry about your job.
I know.
Always opportunity.
Yeah, that there's always opportunities and you're ready for whatever you need to pivot for.
Yeah. So
I know.
Definitely. Yes.
And making them feel secure is like a really big thing for me. Like I'm a very loyal person and like feeling warm and cozy is kind of my love language. So however I can show that to them, and some days I can't come in. Like some days I told my girls the other day, like some days I just have to work from home because if I'm having one of those days, I don't need to bring that energy here.
Yeah. That's so good that you recognize that.
Yeah.
All right. Back to QVC.
Yeah.
Back to QVC. Tell me about that experience.
Oh, goodness. Well, it was a really weird time. It was COVID. So we were approached and we were selling face mask chains. And QVC, I don't know for anybody who's been on QVC, has a lot of red tape. So from being accepted, your product being accepted to you going on air, it takes a long time because there's a lot of red tape. And Ashley, the day that we launched our face mask chains on QVC was like the day after they lifted the mask mandate.
Oh, no.
And you buy the bulk. I mean, you purchase the bulk up front. QVC does not. So I had 3 minutes to explain to people, not in studio because they weren't doing in studio because of COVID, why you should buy a face mask chain. So if anyone wants to buy a face mask chain, we appreciate it. We'll put them on sale for you. Okay, but my point is this. I loved QVC. I had so much fun for those 3 minutes on air. I hated the red tape. I have an amazing wholesale manager, Jessica, who I'm sure all of your members know. If it wasn't for her, we would never have been on air. She is a detail-oriented hustler. And if it was not for her, I would not have been on air because that's how much and confusing their red tape is. But here's my point. Now that she spent so many hours figuring out the red tape, we got to do it again with a product that we can take big. Which brings me to, we're launching magnetic jewelry, which I think would be amazing on QVC. So I'm hoping we have another chance to go back. We just did LTK conference and QVC was there. So we had a good chance to talk to like a couple of their reps and we kind of pitched the magnetic idea. And I think we might get that rolling. So I need to talk to Jess to be like, are you up for this? Because it's a lot. It's a lot.
It's a lot, but the opportunity, the door that it opens for something else is also a really big deal.
I mean, it's wonderful to say that, like we were on QVC. Yeah. It's just a resume builder. And I always say that I don't regret doing it at all.
Yeah. Something that you're really good at is networking. I mean, from everything you've done, from all the press that you've gotten, from the relationships you have, to the podcast that we'll talk about in a little bit that you're launching, like that is definitely your strength. And I feel like QVC is one step in that. Tell me about LTK Con because I hear that's amazing.
Oh my gosh. It's like something I can't even I still think I'm decompressing. I'm not even lying. Like it was 3 days of like speed dating, but with influencers. So
Cool.
we had a booth there. We were one of the sponsors. So I brought 2 girls to work my booth, which was phenomenal. So we showed the charm bar to all the influencers. They all got to take home a charm bar necklace. We did our permanent jewelry. And then I did meetings. So while they were doing that, I did meetings that LTK Con set up. So they would rotate influencers in and out of my table. So I was able to
Oh, wow.
yeah. So I was able to see a lot of my friends that I've gotten to know over the years. And then I've got to meet new ones that I'm looking forward to collabing with. So it was a busy 3 days, but I'm sure like you would know with market, it's probably a little bit like that. And it was amazing. And once I come out of my funk, maybe we'll go back next year. They were like, "Are you guys ready yet?" I'm like, "We're not ready yet."
Yeah. Too many people.
It was
Just need a minute.
amazing. It was an amazing experience. And like I spoke to a friend, actually Daniel Diamond, who does a lot of the jackets and stuff. We're popping up at a store in Nashville next week. And he said, "How was your trip?" And I was like, "Really, really stressful. I'm really, really tired." And he said, "Do you know how many brands would wish they felt like that right now because of that experience?" And it really put everything in perspective. Like everything. It put everything in perspective. It put me worrying about bills in perspective. It put me, do you know how many brands wish they were worrying about the shit I worry about? So the worry is real, but I have to step back and think these are, problems that we wished for. So that I'm grateful for, very grateful for.
I love that. So what I've seen from you, like just summing some of those things up from LTK to QVC to Nordstrom, all of that, you have done such a great job of building not just a product-based business, but a brand, a whole brand. If someone's listening and they're like, "Dang, Megan, I want to do that too. Where do I start? Like, how do I think bigger like that into branding myself and my company together? Versus just selling products at wholesale." What advice would you give them?
I mean, the cliche response is, I've been like this since I was a little girl. Like, if you were going to send me to school, my name was going to be on my outfit and my name was going to be on my headband. Like, my name, like, this was back, like, I'm 43. This was back before everybody customized stuff. There was no Pottery Barn. My mom, that's just how it was. And honestly, that's how I think about my business. Like, everything's branded, like from my poly mailers to my stickers to the experience when you walk in my warehouse. It's every mirror has our brand on it. Everything is an activation. Everything is Instagram worthy. And if somebody wanted to start that and they didn't have that in their head when they were little, I started with the Skinny Confidential. I mean, I went back to episode freaking 1 and she taught me branding 101. She is such a wealth of knowledge. I credit her for all of my branding. The Skinny Confidential is a dream come true for a business person. And literally, I listened to every one of her podcast episodes as I was building the Sis Kiss. And I honestly credit a lot of our success to taking notes, making those things come true. I mean, a lot of people listen to podcasts, but how many times do you activate what you listen? So, not only am I a listener, I will stop on my walk and take a note and come back. I read my notebook almost every other day. Like, because you know what? That note I wrote might not resonate with me today or next month or next year, but shit, one day that note is going to be like, "Oh my God, yes, of course. You know how you said you should sell more color? Here you go." So I take notes from her, and obviously I've listened to Ed Milet, and I think that's how. And I don't want to sell jewelry. I mean, I do want to sell jewelry. It pays for the bills. But I want to sell the brand as a whole. It's as a community. I want people to feel like they're a family with the Sis Kiss. They're like a part of a group. Like, I'm your sis. Like, I've had depression. I've had anxiety. I'm a mom. I struggle. I forgot to get my kid off the bus at the right time the other day. I forgot to give her money for the book fair yesterday. I am a human, and so are you. So come on in and be a hot mess with me.
Yeah.
That's
Amen.
all. But I think they should wear hoops while they're doing it, because if you're going to be a hot mess, you should wear hoops because it makes you look better.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Yeah. Oh my gosh. There's so many things. So just because you're being a mom, just because you are a mom does not mean you have to show up in frumpy sweatpants and drive a minivan.
I do. I love my sweatpants. I'm
I know.
happier in style. Yeah. Well, but then there's this whole level of like, I'm pretty I don't know if I'm very, like, I don't have mom friends. And I don't say that like people at my son's school, my daughter's school, I'm not very approachable if I show up like this. So there's a fine line. It's really that's something else that I really don't ever talk about. Like, it's a really fine line. Like, my building is in the middle of our community. My name is lit up on all sides of this building. And I'm not sure how approachable that I am. And I wish I was, because I really don't have any, like, there is nobody there's not one mom I could text right now to be like, do you know what the book fairs is tomorrow? Like, do you know what I mean? I don't have that. I don't have that part of life. So there's that.
I completely understand what you're saying. I moved to a new community and didn't know anyone, and kind of rolled in a little bit similar. I like to wear a really big leopard coat everywhere I go. And so my icebreaker is, you know what? This coat makes me look like my house smells like cat pee.
Oh,
like that's
I need an icebreaker.
You just need an icebreaker, like, oh, this leather jacket. Like, you got to just make a joke about it. And then people are like, what did you just say? I'm like, yes, this coat makes me look like my house smells like cat pee and I'm 80 years old. But in fact, it's very fashionable. Let's be friends.
That's
like,
right.
I'm a hot mess, you're a hot mess. Let's go.
Well, I even have parties at my warehouse. Like, we're having one tonight, but they consist of like a DJ, my tattoo artists. They all like, they're not your normal parties. And so it's funny when I invite them, I'm like, come on by. We're having my tattoo artist is doing tattoos and my medium's giving readings. And they're like, yeah, okay, I'll be right over.
I want to come.
Well,
I just want to come.
You would love it. We should do it live. Here.
I'm coming. Yes.
Do you know that we've never been to market?
How is that even possible?
Girl, because my mind, I can't, there's too much information on market. There's too many. Like, I'm always like friends with Mugsby, and I'm always like, look, just tell me what market to go to. Where are you going to be? I'll just meet you there. Like, there's too much.
Okay, we need to make a deal. You need to come to the Boutique Summit in March in Dallas. Well, that would be your jam.
Yes. I kind of agree with that. And what we keep hearing is Dallas. So,
yeah.
And Jessica, my wholesale manager, lives there. So it kind of helps.
Perfect. Easy.
We would love to get more involved, because I feel like you're right about the networking, but I feel like I spend all my time networking doing the retail side with influencers, that I feel like if I gave that much energy to wholesale, we would boom. You know what I mean? Yeah. Because I don't know personally a lot of my, because Jessica is so amazing. It's like, she's the face of wholesale, and I don't like to take that away from her. But at the same time, she's like, they want to hear from you too, Meg.
Yeah. I think, like what you said, the most successful businesses, whether they're retail or wholesale, what they have in common is they've established a sense of community.
Yeah.
People feel like they belong, they understand, whether you're there for every conversation or not. Like, I can't be in every conversation anymore in the boutique hub, as much as I would love to be. But if you don't get me, you get Shannon, you get Jeff, you get...
And they know them. Yes.
Yeah. And it's all the same. It's the same feel. It's the same intent. We're on the same, like, we're pulling in the same direction. Yeah. And I think you've built that too with your company.
Thank you. It's I agree. And that's my favorite part. It's my favorite part. Like, that's why I love the permanent jewelry, because it's an activation. It's part of, like, you sit down with our girls and you tell us about your day and we give you a glass of champagne. It's not just like that you're paying for a bracelet. We're with you for a whole 7 minutes. And it's just fun to see. People want to be activated. They really do.
Yes. It's just like Christmas. People don't remember what they bought. They remember how you made them feel.
That's exactly right. Which is why I don't like giving gift cards. Even though my kids we want gift cards. I'm like, fine, forget it. You're getting gift cards. Well, that was another thing about branding. I was going to touch on this, but when I was growing up, I was always the best gift giver. Like, I was always the most personalized, thoughtful gift giver. Do not toot my own horn, but I'm a very good gift giver. Like, I don't cook worth shit, but I can give a gift. And I feel like my brand was literally built for that. It's like, you order from us and you're going to make sure that your wife or your daughter or your mother or your brother feels like, oh my God, you ordered it early. You put my name on it. You picked it comes in a pretty package. You get free stickers. It's like the whole experience. It's not just a gift card.
Yeah.
I should put that somewhere. Like, we're not just a gift card.
Yeah, you should.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
More branding.
I'll trademark
I
that.
love it. Well, you've got something big in the works. I want to hear about your podcast because I am so excited that you're doing this. Tell me about it.
So it's called Wildly Unprofessional because I'm obviously very wildly unprofessional. It's kind of a play on words. I mean, if you think about it, I used to be a lawyer, which is probably one of the most professional things that you could do. But the thing was, I did criminal defense. So I feel like I was kind of in the wildly unprofessional part of law. And then when I left, I kept like talking like about like, if you ever listen to my podcasts that I do with other people, it's always more about like my mental health and why I don't give a shit. And I just talk about it because I'm not ashamed of it. You know, I had postpartum, I'm on Zoloft, like I have a therapist and it's okay. And I feel like I came up with wildly unprofessional because maybe those aren't the things that you're supposed to be saying, but it's the things that I'm saying. And I'm hoping my podcast and the guests that we bring on resonate with whoever. And we're doing things as like my trainer comes on, my medium came on. I'm interviewing someone next week who spent 9 years in prison and who's now out and doing so much good in the world that I'm having on. And then we have fun people. I did Influencers. Loverly Gray was on, and I am like very well rounded about. We do a lot of things around here, but what you're going to get from me is you're always going to get myself. So that's what it is. It's going to be a fun little, they're not that long. They're about 45 minutes. And I hope that it's fun for my audience. And I do think that is a good way for people that get to know me because I'm not on Instagram that much. You know, my girls make everything really pretty. So I don't get on and like do my whole thing a lot. And I am so caught up in the business that it is hard for me to just jump on and tell people what I'm doing with my day. So I want my audience to feel closer to me. And I feel like maybe this is the way to do it. And I'm having a lot of fun with it.
I love that. It's going to be great. You guys, I'll link it up in the show notes so everyone can take a listen and celebrate. And I know you've got some pretty amazing guests that so many people are also going to recognize along the way. So Megan, thanks so much for coming on the podcast today. I can't wait to hear your podcast and
you'll have to come on. We would love to have you. I know we're going to do I think I offered to do it. I'm like, we should do a swap.
Yes, I'm game. Let's do it.
Thank you for having me back. It's been really fun to catch up again. Let's do it again.
I love it.
Hey guys, thank you so much for listening to this episode. We hope that you loved it. Don't forget to hit subscribe and leave a rating and review down below for a chance to be one of our featured listeners each and every week. For more information on our spirit of community over competition and how to access complete show notes and bonus downloads from our guests, head on over to theboutiquehub.com and join the community. We'll see you next week.